Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on August 29th, 2018. If you'd like to play my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to demonstrate on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 20, 25, 54, 57, and 63. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I'll take the last 3 drawings of numbers because it matches up with this red area right here. And I'll take these last 3 drawings of numbers and I'll transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with the orange area, the green, the blue, and the purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so how this works is, again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. I divided them among 5 colors, which equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color. Okay, so for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 17 orange, 14 green, 9 blue, and 14 purple. And the number of colors change with every drawing. Okay, so over here to the right, this 258. This tells me how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings. Okay. So out of this 258 drawings, 140 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 88 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 25 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 9 times out of 258 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 3 right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 3 blue numbers, a purple, and an orange for 3 colors total. Okay, so how I use this is I try to correctly guess what the number here will be, the next number will be, okay? So more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 numbers total. Only 5 numbers could come up as winners. So that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so to help me out with that, I'm going to turn to how all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. Okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is I go back and I look at the history of the color code here and I try to correctly guess which one of these colors won't be coming up. Okay, so for me, I look at it and I say I see a lot of blue numbers here, so my guess is that no blue numbers are going to come up. Okay, and another reason why I'm picking blue is because there's only 9 numbers where all the other colors have a lot more. Okay, so the thing about my game is that we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, so I don't believe that any blue numbers are going to come up. And you may look at this and say, no, I don't think any green numbers are going to come up or whatnot, okay? But for me, again, I don't think any blue numbers are going to come up, so I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so like the 16, when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll to the right to speed things up. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no blue numbers to it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in the drawing. Again, it was the 20, 25, 54, 57, and 63. So that turns out to be a 3-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about here. And what you're going to see is that I took the 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. So group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's 10 through 19. Okay, this numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers. And then all the other 6 groups have 10 numbers to it. Okay, so the next group I call the teen group, even though it's 10, 11, and 12 in there. Okay, and then the next 10 is the 20s, and then the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so this means that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But the other reason is my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this certain group of numbers for this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So, again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers, okay? So, again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. But for me, I don't think any 20 numbers are going to be coming up, okay? And the reason why I'm picking that is because you can see that in this 5, there's 3 hits in the last 5 drawings. Before that, there was 6, then 4, then 5, then 8, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 4, okay? All the way down here is where there's 2 hits. Okay, so I just think that it's due to have something like this where there's only 2 hits to it, and there's already 2 hits here. So my guess is that none of these 20 numbers are going to come up this next drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. Okay, another way that you can use this game if you decide to get it is you could highlight one number like this 20, and you could go down and see what colors have come up, okay? So if it hasn't been a color like the color green, and it's in the green area, then you might want to consider the 20 coming up, okay? Another way I use this is I try to correctly guess how many groups it's going to hit, okay? So as I looked back through the history of things, either a 3 or a 4 come up the most, okay? A 5 will come up every now and again, and a 2 will come up every once in a blue moon here, okay? So I just go with the majority of things of what comes up the most, okay? And what comes up the most is either a 3 or a 4, okay? So as I look at this, you can see that there was no 3s in this 5, okay? And there was 1 3 in this 5, so I'm kind of expecting a lot of 3s to come in here, okay? So I'm actually expecting this to be either a 3 or a 4. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the right. As soon as my computer lets me here. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far, with no blue numbers from the color code and now no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups. And then I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 20, 25, 54, 57, and 63. Okay, so the 20 is right here in the red. And the 25 shares the square with the 65 right here. And I'll go over that in a second. Okay, so that means that this is the 2 red areas that hit. So as you look down here in the stats, you can see the 2. Okay, now there was no winning Powerball numbers here in this blue area. Okay, and then there was one number here in the orange, and that was the 57. Okay, and there was 2 numbers here in the green, and that was the 54 and the 63. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers are going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate on how I use this. Okay, and I have 15 of these option cards, so you can see that this is option card number 1. And over here is option card number 2, so you can see how I have these red numbers broken out. And then over here, you can see how these red numbers are broken out. Okay, so just a little bit different, but all the same colors among all 15 option cards. It's always red, blue, orange, green. Okay, always in the same order. Okay, so they all kind of look the same, except that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so I'm going to go to option card number 5, and I don't believe that any of these red numbers are going to be coming up. So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so we're all going to look at this a little bit different, okay? But the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see that sometimes these zeros, they double up, like right over here, okay? So as I look at this, I think it's due to double up and have a 0 right here. Okay, so that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know for sure, but that's what I hope will happen. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card here. I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can read underneath, group 1, option card number 5, no red numbers. And you can see that all those red numbers are gone now. Okay, so I'm going back to group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card number 6, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because this red had a long streak of 17 hits in a row where one of these red numbers came up in the last 17 drawings. Then it missed, and now it's gone 9 drawings. Okay, so I just think that it's due to miss again. I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, but again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, so I think that none of these red numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so you can read underneath group 1, option card number 6, so you can see that all those red numbers are gone now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1 for another pick. Option card number 7, no red numbers to it. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking red in this one is because it had 13 drawings in a row. And I just think that it's due to have a 0 here. Okay? So I don't believe that any of these red numbers are going to come up. So I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can read underneath Group 1, option card number 7, no red numbers. Okay, so all those red numbers are gone now. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far, and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 1 for another pick. And that's option card number 9, no red numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 9 right here. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because you can see this row right here. What this represents is that all 4 color groups are represented in the last drawing. Okay, so when that happens, I call that a row. Okay, so that gives me some distinction as I go back into the history of things or where these rows are. Okay, so usually when it hits 2 rows, usually there's a 0 somewhere. Okay, but now this one has hit 3 rows. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the longest one here, and that's the red. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these red numbers will be coming up in the drawing. So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. So you can read underneath. It's supposed to say Group 1. Sorry about that. Group 1, option card number 9, no red numbers. Okay, so you can see that I'm whittling down these numbers here. Okay, so hopefully the 5 white winning Powerball numbers are within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Group 1 for one last pick. And that's option card number 12, no red numbers. Okay, I apologize. My computer's lagging tonight. So here's option card number 12. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has 17 drawings in a row. Okay, so I just think that it's due to have a 0 here. So I don't believe that any of these red numbers will be coming up. So I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. And again, you can read underneath Group 1, option card number 12, no red numbers, and you can see all these red numbers are gone now. Okay, so that's all I'm going to pick from Group 1. Okay, but I want to show you what I call the Group 1 overview. Okay, so this is the Group 1 overview right here. Okay, so this represents all the red areas, all the blue areas, all the orange, and all the green of all 15 option cards. Okay, so in the last drawing, there was 5 orange areas with a 0, like right here. Okay, so the reason why I colored this blue at 5 is to give me some separation. Okay, so it's a third of the option cards. So when 5 or more option cards have a 0 to it, I colored this blue for cold. Okay, so if there's only 4 zeros within all 15 option cards, then I color this red for hot. Okay, so you can see that this red area has had a huge streak of red here. Okay, so I'm expecting it to turn blue anytime now. So that means there's going to be 5 or more zeros among these option cards. So to give you a visual of things here, I'm going to go through the orange areas here. So you can see that this is number 1. Okay, here's option card 13, and here's another 0 in the orange area, so that's number 2. Here's one, option card number 11, so that's number 3. Okay, here's one in option card number 8. So that's number 4. That's the fourth 0. And here's number 5 right here, option card number 3. None of these orange numbers came up. Okay, so that's how I came up with 5 zeros here. Okay, so again, I'm expecting that this red area to have a lot of zeros to it for this drawing. Okay, if not this drawing, the next drawing. If not that one, the next one after that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep an eye on this red area until there's a blue mark here. Okay, so hopefully there's going to be lots of them. Like this one here, it had 8 option cards with zeros to it. Okay, so that's why I'm picking all red. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy here. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colored groups won't be coming up and eliminate that colored group off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is you can see that I've broken things into 8 groups here. I have 15 of these option cards as well. This is option card number 1. So all the option cards look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so like the red here, you can see the red numbers where they are, and then over here in option card number 2, you can see where the red numbers are. Okay, so just a little bit different. Okay, so I want to show you how I use this here. So down here in the stats, okay, I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. And the reason why is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so you can see within this 5 drawings, there was 3 misses and 2 hits. So the majority is misses. And when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, the one right below it, you can see that there was 3 hits. So the majority is hits. And when that happens, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so the reason why I do that is because I know that the lottery is so random that nothing can stay cold forever and nothing can stay hot forever. Okay, so as I go down through, I'll show you an example of things where things got really cold and then they got really hot. Okay, so again, it can't stay hot forever. It's going to turn cold at some point. Okay, I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. All right, so for my pick here, actually, I'm going to go over this 65 and 25, okay? So you can see that there's no numbers off here to the left. And as I go back to the game card, you can see that I have numbers off here to the left, okay? So the reason why I do that is because of the color code, okay? So you can see that this 53 right here is purple, and this 53 shares the square with the 69, okay? So the 69 is red. So the reason why I do that, if I get rid of all the red numbers, then the 69 is out, but the 53 is still in play. Okay. So back to group 2 here. I'm going to make a pick. Okay, my first pick is going to be option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 3 right here. So here's the red, okay? And as I head down through, you can see that things were kind of like 50-50 of hot and cold. And then it really started to heat up here. Then it still got hot, and now I'm expecting a line of blue here, okay? So I think this next one is going to be a 0 like this, okay? So again, I don't believe that any of these red numbers are going to be coming up. So I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so you can see that there's nothing here, but over here there's a bunch of numbers because the 69 shares the square with the 53. Okay, so as I scroll to the left, you can see that all 4 of those numbers are gone now. Okay, so hopefully none of those 4 will come up. Okay, and now I'm going to go to make another pick, and that's option card number 5, no green numbers. Okay, so here I'm back at the group 2. Okay, so here's option card number 5 out of 15, and I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up. Okay, so here's the stats for the green, and as I head down through, you can see that things are kind of 50-50, but then they heated up right here a little bit. Now they cooled down, and they heated up a little bit, and now I think there's going to be a blue mark here. So I'm expecting the next 3 drawings to have none of these green numbers come up. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So I want to get rid of these green numbers, and I'm going to do it through the game card. Okay, so I'm back at the game card here. I'm going to scroll to the left, and you can see that that 48 is gone now. Okay, the 48 and 56, I do believe. Yeah, so these 2 numbers are gone. And I'm going to scroll back over. Okay, so this is all I'm going to eliminate. Okay, this is all I feel comfortable doing. All right, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers total, and now I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. Okay, so again, if I made all the correct picks, and the key word here is if I made all the correct picks and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so now I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so how this works is, again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that. And try to correctly guess what the correct majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this 302. This tells me how many drawings I kept track of so far. And this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 302 drawings, 154 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 148 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball homepage, the 5 white winning numbers was 1 even, 1 odd, 2 evens, 2 odds, 3 odds, 2 evens. Okay, so you can see that the highlighted one is 3 odds, and the one that's not highlighted is 2 evens. Okay, so the majority is odds. So this one went from 153 to 154 now. Okay, so as I head over to the next one, this is high and low. And everything in red is considered high numbers, and everything in blue is considered low. So this is 150 majority to the high side and 152 to the majority of the low side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as I go back here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that more even numbers are going to come up than odd. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want them to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so over here to the high and low, this is kind of too tricky, so I'm going to leave this one alone. Okay, and I'm going to go on to left and right. So the majority here is 149 drawings were to the majority to the left side, and 153 drawings the majority to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to predict that there's going to be more numbers to the left side than there is to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to head on over to the last one. The last 50-50 is this red and blue area. Okay, so you can see that the red has 175 drawings to 127. And I think that this next one here will probably be more to the blue than the red here. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be more numbers here in this blue area than the red. Okay, so one last thing that I have here, this is for the red ball, the Powerball itself. Okay, so if you don't know about the Powerball lottery, there's 69 white ball numbers, and out of those 69 numbers, you have to pick 5 numbers correctly. Okay, and then there's 26 red numbers, and you have to get one of those numbers correct. Okay, so if you get all 6 numbers correct, you win the grand prize, and for this drawing, it's 80 million. Okay, so how I use this is, if you're looking at this column here, what I did is I took the 26 red ball numbers and divided it into 2. Okay, so 1 to 13 is considered low. So if you see a blue number, that's considered a low number. And if you see a red number, then that's considered high, 14 to 26. Okay, so over here in this column, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. And if you see a blue one, then that means it's evens. Okay, so this way, I just get to look at the colors and try to predict what color it's going to be. Okay, so for this one, I think it's going to stay blue. Okay, and I think over here, it's going to stay blue as well. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a low, even number. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball, go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the left. Okay, so you can see that underneath 50-50 picks, again, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd. I think there's going to be more to the left side than the right side. Okay, and I think there's going to be more to the blue area than the red. Okay, so basically I could get rid of these because you can see that there's only 2 numbers here to the right side and only 2 numbers here to the red, so it has to be blue and it has to be left. Okay, so I didn't notice that at the beginning, so I'm just going to get rid of those. Okay, so for this, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from group 2. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards here, and they all kind of look the same as far as the colors: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, and they all kind of look the same, except that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other. Okay, from each different option card. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's 15 red areas, there's 15 blue, 15 orange, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that, and I call that the Group 2 overview. Okay, so it's right next to the Group 1 overview here. And again, my computer's kind of lagging tonight. Sorry about that. So this is the Group 2 overview right here. If I can get it to line up. Okay, so what you're looking at here is you can see that for the red areas, this is 10 and 5, which equals the 15 option cards. Okay, so the numbers on the left side are hits, and that means that particular option card had a winning Powerball number in the red area. Okay, and here on the right side is misses, where that particular option card had no winning numbers in that red area. Okay, so in the last drawing, there was 10 hits, 5 misses among those 15 option cards. All right, so the magic number here is 8. 8 will show me a majority. Okay, so if there's 8 or more hits, I color the background red for hot. If there's 8 or more misses, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so here I just got to look at the colors again and try to correctly guess what color it's going to be. Okay, so I think that this brown area is going to have a lot of red to it, so I'm expecting a lot of hits among the brown area here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll down so you can see that it says lots of hits among the brown areas of group 2. Okay, so what that means is this yellow area, this represents all 15 option cards. Okay, so in option card number 1, as I go back, I'm just looking at the brown areas here. Okay, so from the 6 down to the 62, I want to see what's left on the game card. Okay, so now I'm looking for hits, and the only one left is the 30, so I wrote that down, okay, under option card number 1. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards, and these are the numbers that were pointed out to me. Okay, so I'm off to the last strategy, and that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so as I scroll to the right, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 10, 30, 35, 40, and 58. Okay, so with this amount of numbers here, the combination of numbers will give me 9 hits, 6 misses in that brown area. Okay, so to give you a visual here, again, I think that here's the brown. And again, my computer is really slow tonight. Okay, so this is what I think is going to happen. And then I'll be coloring it red like that. Okay, so this is what I hope will happen. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, so this will hit 9 option cards out of 15. Okay, so with this combination of numbers here, I got the 10, which is in one group of the individual numbers. Okay, and then there's the 30, 35, 40, and 58. So that will give me a 4 in the individual numbers here. Okay, 4 groups right here. Okay, so that's what I think is going to happen. I was happy with either a 3 or a 4. That comes up the most. Okay, so another thing with these numbers down here is the 58 and 68 share the square. Okay, so it could be either the 58 or the 68 that comes up. So I'm going to play 2 tickets this drawing. Okay, my first $3 ticket is going to be the 10, 30, 35, 40, and 58. And my second $3 ticket will be the 10, 30, 35, 40, and 68. Okay, since I don't know which is going to come up, I'm going to cover my bases and play both of them. Okay, so that's how I play my game. Okay, so if you're interested in playing, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, I charge $10 a month. I'll send you the link. Okay, the $10 is considered a maintenance fee to keep the game up. Okay, and when you think about it, there's eight or nine drawings per month. Okay, so when you break it down, the fee comes out to like $1.25 per drawing. Okay, so I appreciate you watching today. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Okay, and as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.